Do you ever wish that maybe you were less smart? Maybe you're more.
I wish I was as smart as you.
Well, I'm not smart.
Oh, you're smarter than I am. I wish I.
No.
In terms of being intelligent, I think you're high here. I would probably be next, and Adam might get to you. I think he probably balances the scale. You know, one of the great things that I loved about you early was when you and I started talking about George Miller, who was a good friend of mine and an interesting man and very, very funny. And the fact that you shared a love for George Miller, I always took that to heart.
Well, there's very few people that are pure comics, and he was one of them. I remember I had a stupid sitcom at one point. I don't know what I was doing. And I said, you want to come on the thing? And he's like, well, how do you do that? Like, you just pretend to be another guy? Like, and why would a stand-up know anything about acting or care to do it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't really make any sense. And
well, he didn't want that at all.
No, I just wanted
because when he was first on the Tonight Show, and he was the first of our group to get on the Tonight Show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And he was just exploded. He had like 4 or 5, maybe a half a dozen killer shots.
Yeah.
Bang, zoom. Come over to the couch, this, that. William Morris was handling him, and they started sending him out on situation comedy things. And after a while, he just stopped showing up. He said, I don't get it. I you know, what am I supposed to do? You know, I don't want to, I don't know. And I understood that, but it was also, there were a lot of things, all he really wanted to do was write and tell jokes.
Yeah.
That's all he wanted to do.
and play pool.
Play pool, that's right, at which he was very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember one time he said, I got a big pool game tonight against, and the guy's name was, the guy he was playing, his name was Bob's the Farmer. And I said, wait, is his name Bob the Farmer? He goes, no, Bob's the Farmer.
Yeah.
That's the guy's name.
Yeah. Yeah, he was tremendous.
You want to hear a very interesting thing?
Yeah.
You remember the movie The Hustler?
Yes.
So there was a character in it, Minnesota Fats, played by Jackie Gleason. So there's a guy in New York, right? Just a cheap hustler, you know, shooting pool. And he says, I'll call myself Minnesota Fats. And then everybody thought that he was based on Minnesota Fats. And every year on Wide World of Sports, he'd play Willie Mosconi, a really good. Willie Mosconi would crush him. And then Minnesota Fats would go, I could beat him in a bar anytime for money. So, but isn't that interesting? You steal a movie character's name. Of course, everybody thinks it's the other way around.
Yeah.
So you want to tell some jokes when we come back? Oh, we have some George Miller jokes also.
Okay, good.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah. I like George Miller jokes.
And, well, I'll tell you about it in the commercial because you probably won't want to do it.
Let me ask you a
Yes,
question.
sir.
Is this pretty much what you put Seinfeld through?
We're going to return in a moment.
Subscribe to Nom Burger King.
David Letterman back. Here's something that happened to me, Mr. Letterman, that I just recalled. When I was young, I used to go to a church, like a televised church thing, but it was Canada, and it wasn't like it wasn't big time. And so, anyways, the host's name was David Maines, and he said the way he started the show was he said if anybody wants to witness, and a witness I guess meant if somehow God had entered your
Testify,
life,
yes.
testified, and did a miracle in your life. So I'm sitting beside a French-Canadian idiot, big fat guy, super dumb. And I talked to the guy, because I just went there for the sandwiches. And the guy, I'm talking for 10 minutes, he puts up his hand. I'm like, what? This dumb Frenchman is going to talk? So sure enough, David Maine starts the show, and who wants to witness? And a couple of people. And then the fat guy beside me, he gets up, and David Maines goes, what? Now what happened in you? And the guy goes, I got the thing, I got a terrible cough. I think to myself, by God, I said to my wife, Mary Claire, I got the cancer. By God, I go to the doctor, and he tells me, no cancer. So it's not a miracle at all. So everybody's super embarrassed, you know. So David Maines goes, he's trying to save it. He goes, well, that was God's way of telling you to quit smoking. He goes, no, I still smoke. He goes, oh, well, let's everybody put our hands together. It's one of those things where, like you were saying, and now I'm holding the guy's hand. He doesn't want to quit smoking. And we're all praying that he could quit smoking, except for him, who's just remaining silent. I don't know why I thought of that. But
Now, that story is not in the book.
no.
Well, so why isn't that story in the book?
Yeah, that should be in the book.
Well, because the
Oh,
book,
thanks, Adam. Welcome back. You out looking for apartments? Jesus.
the book is a novel. That's why it's
Yes,
so memorable.
but there's enough. What I enjoyed about it, and maybe you're the smartest man in publishing. Now you can tell the real version of those stories in your next book. After this is a runaway bestseller.
Wow, that's some idea.
Yeah,
What about this?
yeah.
The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson.
Mm-hmm.
You follow that show at 12:30, and you call your show Late Night with David Letterman, not starring David Letterman,
Right.
but with David Letterman.
Right. First of all, you can call it anything you want. But I was embarrassed. I could not possibly and still don't consider myself a star, and so I couldn't refer to myself as a star. In the same way, I always...
Well, so it had nothing to do with Carson.
Oh, no. Johnny Carson was a star. There's no question of that. So for me to adopt that as starring Dave Letterman, that was just ridiculous. In the same way, I always cringe a little when people refer to the folks who watch their show as their fans. I just think that's a little too, you kind of just stepped over the line of basic humility there. So to call myself a star didn't go. So you had the Today Show, the Tonight Show, the Tomorrow Show. Sigourney Weaver's father came up with that idea.
Pat Weaver.
When he worked, yeah, that's right. When he worked at NBC, I said, for the love of God, go back to the Tomorrow Show.
Absolutely, yes. This is what bothers me about the show. At one point, there was two shows: the 11:30 show and the 12:30 show. Johnny
Right.
Carson and David Letterman.
Right.
Now there's 100 Johnny Carsons. And
Well,
no David Letterman.
There's not
No,
100.
no.
There's not 100 Johnny.
No, I don't mean
Carsons.
that. But I mean,
Yeah.
there's 100 11:30 shows. The 11:30 and 12:30 shows are indistinct.
Oh, I see. They're all the same template.
Yeah, right.
yeah. Well, I don't know.
Change something.
I don't
mean,
know.
Conan
Perhaps.
changed it up a little.
Yeah. Well, do whatever you want. I think you're bound by the pressure of who is writing the checks. Don't you think
I
so?
guess.
Yeah. I mean, good Lord, how do you get away with this, for heaven's sake?
Did you ever wonder when you were doing your show how it came, maybe you know, because you're a student, how did it come to be that the host interviews the guy and he has a desk as if it's a job interview or something?
Well, I wanted it to be, I thought that there were certain rules of television that were not to be violated. Like Johnny had a desk. Okay. I think Steve Allen before him had a desk.
But not Merv, not Mike.
No, not Merv and not Mike. And I always thought those were peculiar shows. I thought those were experiments,
Niche.
something Luther Burbank had concocted that the graft hadn't taken. So I thought, okay, those are one-offs. That's Mike Douglas. Yeah, it's Mike Douglas. It's daytime. It's very quiet.
Right.
It's Philadelphia. It's no desk. Don't go anywhere near that. And Merv, you were on the Merv show, right? You were? No.
No, I was never a Merv Griffin.
I don't know.
You mean in the 50s?
No, not in the 50s.
When was
when
Merv
Merv
Griffin?
had the later show.
Oh, I thought you meant when he.
Oh, when he had
when did
he used to have
Tonight
the CBS show.
I thought you meant when he hosted the Tonight Show.
Never mind. So I just thought, okay, well, there's certain things you can't mess with.
Yeah.
And we had a guy come in and tell us, his name was Dave Tebbett, who was Johnny Carson's guy. He was his lookout guy. He was his lieutenant, he would take care of him. He was his go-between the network and the show. And he came in and told us what we could do. We couldn't have a band more than 4 pieces. I couldn't do a monologue. I could do like 3 jokes. We couldn't have any of the Tonight Show guests, and other things. And he said one time he came in and he told us that he said let me give you an idea of what we expect. Let's just say Bob Hope is arrested for selling drugs. This was the scenario that we had to be leery of. Don't make jokes about Bob Hope being arrested for selling drugs. We said, okay, we can do that. we can
The country would pretty well disintegrate if that ever happened.
Subscribe to Nom Burger King.